is Friday, April 10th. My name is Terry Morgan, and welcome to the mid-morning stretch. For my Catholic friends, it's also Easter, Good Friday. It's Good Friday. I'm looking forward to Easter, all right? It's a couple of days yet. Let me set this down. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Feet about shoulder width apart. Arms down, relaxed at your sides. You make a big circle. Hand circle to the front. Come up along the center line. Stretch out over the legs. Bend the knees. Breathe in. Hand circle to the front. Breathe out both sides. Breathe in. Up along the center line. Stretch up. Fingertips reach out. Stretch out over the legs. Breathe out. Relax through your back. Build up through the spine, one vertebra at a time. Gently roll up and breathe in. Yeah. Let's do that again. Stretch out over the legs. Breathe out. And breathe in. Roll up through the back. Yeah. Do that one more time. Stretch out. This time your elbows drop down, wrists drop down, fingertips, hands return to your sides. Okay, so we've started with this series of outward stretch, inward stretch. You know, the left side, go to the right side, outward, inward. And we've done just a little bit with the legs. I'm going to shift today just a little bit, and we're going to get on the floor. All right, now, sometimes it takes me a minute or two to get on the floor. So, you know, that's all right. As close as you can. And I'm going to keep my shoes on because I'm going to keep my shoes on. They're soft and flexible. So socks, if you don't want to wear shoes, that's fine. You're probably at home anyway, so it doesn't matter. Okay, if you were out in public, I would say you need socks or soft shoes, but you know, there's that. So you want, as much as possible, the knees to be flat to the floor. One foot inside the other, and both are flat on the floor. So you've got, in this case, I've got my left foot tucked up under behind my right knee, and as I bring my right leg around, there's room for me to press down, and that's what we're going to do. Okay, this is the beginning of one of these stretches. There's a couple more parts to it, and we're going to go over those. But right now, hands on your knees, wherever your knees happen to be. All right? And you're going to turn your arms so that your hands are facing each other. Lean forward. Some of your weight is going to go on your arms and press down on your knees. Oh yeah, you should feel that through the lower back and through the hips. The glutes should feel this very nicely, especially right in where the leg joins in the hip, because this is what we're doing. We want to take the hip up, release the leg so the leg can stay down, and then roll the hips over the legs. Now, my younger days, I'm not going to try it today. My younger days, my forehead would go to the floor. I'm fairly sure there are some young people out there who could do that. My limit right now is about here, which, yeah, it's not too bad. But so the idea is you want that flexibility in the hips so that as you're doing this stretch, and you see me as I'm talking, I'm rolling back and forth. This is very gentle. This is not, yeah, I'm a stretch. Okay? This is a very gentle stretch. So each time as you roll forward, I'm going to try and go just a little bit further. Not a lot, just a little bit. Okay? So as you do this, you build up the capability to not only sustain that stretch through the hip, but to increase it. Right? So I'm not using my arms right now. My legs are pretty much flat on the floor. So if you still need to push down, push down. And stretch forward. There you go. Alright. Now we're going to unfold the legs. And we're going to do pretty much the same thing. We're going to start out with the legs straight forward. And your feet should be, yeah, more or less flexed. We're not going to pay so much attention to the feet right now as to keeping the leg flat on the floor. If you're having a little trouble with this, set your arms back and push up and then lean forward. Okay, what this will do is help you release the hip, right? And then as you lean forward and push yourself forward, you get part of that stretch started, right? Everybody got to start someplace, right? With this one, again, I used to be able to get my nose down to here somewhere. About this far, maybe. It was, yeah, I could do a lot of things when I was 20-something, all right? So for all of the young people and the less than 30-somethings, nose to your knees here, ladies. All right? As you do this, right? So you're here, this can push up, push yourself forward. And again, this is very gentle. Release the hip, let the hip roll over the leg. You're going to feel it in the back of the leg, which doesn't get this kind of a stretch very often, especially right along here. And you're also going to feel it in the hips, in the lowest of the 3 gluteal muscles. You're going to feel the stretch there as you push over your hip, over your legs. That's where you're going to feel this the most, because that's where where the leg inserts into the muscle that supports the leg inserts into the hip, and that's what we're stretching. And you want to find that. You want to know where those are. One of my dance teachers, Miss Tanya, used to talk about you will learn to love your pain. And I didn't fully understand that until I started feeling it. And there's one day when we were doing bar and she came by and she looked at me and she said, uh-huh. And all I could do was smile. Because she understood in that moment that I had found the muscles that I was looking for and that I was actively using them. So she was very happy. All right. So I've been sitting here with my feet flexed, which stretches this up and stretches this out. All right. I'm going to turn and pick a side. It doesn't matter. All right. And you want as much separation between the legs as possible. Okay. Now, again, this is something that we develop. It's not something that is automagical. unless you're like, 3 years old, and then your legs can go out to both sides and it's all cool. Alright? So, in this position, right, you want your foot flexed so it's not limp. In this case, we're not going to use pointed. I'm not doing this. I'm doing flex foot, which is a little bit more stretch in the back of the leg. Okay, and your back should be straight. So if you're doing this, I talked about this a minute ago. If you're doing this, you can't do it. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, your back needs to be straight so that you can again put your arms down, push up, release the hips, and then push yourself forward. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, right up in here, right on the inside of the leg. That's where you should feel that. In this position, that's where you feel that the most right now. There are other things that will come later, but for right now, pay attention to that. Okay. And as you put your hands down here, you can use either fingertips. You can put your palm. I just did this with my fist, because that gives me a stronger base to push from. And it also gives me about that much extra height to put into that, raise the hips and push over. Again, this is, I'm talking about this is one of those, if you're, 3 years old, you can put your feet here and you can touch your nose to the floor easily. There are some folks who can do that. I used to be able to. Same as I used to be able to touch my nose to my knee, on this side. Not right now. I'm working on it. That's part of what we're doing here is with these morning stretches. I'm going to be doing some things that I plan to do anyway, and I'm going to share. So for this exercise, let's start. Fist, press up, release the hip, push the hip up over the legs on both sides, keep the legs down. Press the hips up, pull the hips up, and stretch out over the legs. Keep your back straight, and do that again. Again, feel this on the inside of the leg. Flex your foot. Yes, it makes you feel it more. Press out, and once more. Up, and stretch out and over. Alright, the same idea, except that now we're going to go to either side. So I'm going to start here, and as I stretch up on the left, I'm going to stretch out and go over to my toes on the left side. Okay. Close as I can get. And one more time, stretch up and stretch out over the leg, reach out. Want to feel it over here on this side as well. This is stretching and pulling here. This is stretching and pulling here. Okay, and go to the other side. Reach up and stretch out. Reach up, stretch out, okay, for both of these going to the side, I'm looking to put my ear to my leg, okay, there's the option to put my nose to my leg as well, but what I've just done, my goal is ear to the knee-ish. It's actually going to show up down here someplace. Stretch up. On the left, reach out. Grab the toes. Touch the ear to the leg. And stretch up. One more time, left side. Reach out. Stretch out over the leg. And the right side, stretch up. Stretch out over the leg. Stretch up. And one more time, stretch out over the leg. Alright, excellent. So we have a couple of things that we can do with these particular stretches. There are some partner exercises, right? So if I'm here and I have a partner who's sitting here in the same position, right? We can do this. So this is a little push me, pull me, right? I pull. We can come both together, right? So this is going to work the waist and turning in the waist, right? And this is a really good partnering exercise. It really is. Okay, so turning in the waist, right? If I'm going to work the hips and rock back and forth, this is also a really good partnering exercise, okay? Pull forward a little bit more, maybe not so much. And I can sit back a little bit more because, well, there's somebody else holding me up over here. So that's kind of nice. So again, if you're at home and you've got a partner, family, somebody else to sit on the other side, bring them over. The same idea, the same concept for this stretch, except that your partner over here is going to put their feet up next to yours, okay, so that you're close. And the same idea here. So you can turn, you go back and forth this way. That's going to work the waist and the hips. That's going to open a lot of this back in here that we really don't use very much. So it's very good to have that open, very good to use that. If you got a little bulge on the side there, this is a great exercise to get rid of that. Okay, so side to side, forward and back, right? And again, there's a little bit of force here to help keep this open, which means that you get a little bit more stretch through the hip. So as your partner leans back, right, you're going forward. As you lean back, your partner's coming towards you. So you get this combination of effort and energy in the partnering and stretches that you can do alone or with a partner. So there's a benefit in working alone in that you can be focused much more on what you should be paying attention to. So your own body, where do I have stiffness, what do I need to get rid of, what do I need to pay attention to in order to do this particular movement or to relax while I'm doing this other movement. Alright? It's much more internal, much more, I'm going to look inside. If you're working with a partner, there's the sharing, right? There's weight sharing, there's some other things that are going on as part of working with another person. Both are valuable. If you have another person to work with, great. If you don't, that's great too. Doesn't matter. Either way, you get some benefit from doing these stretches. We did a leg stretch, and I want to do that again. This was working the legs, right? So you might as well work the legs today. What we did was the same circle that we had before. So it's going outward this time. But there's one leg, pick one. I'm going to start with my left leg. So, pick one. The heel is up, and you stretch out over the leg. Okay? So, the back leg is bent. So, back leg is bent, toes about 45 degrees. Relax through the hips. Front leg, relax the knee. You don't want to lock the knee. Relax the knee. Pull up on the toes so that your heel is down, your toes are up. Stretch up. And reach out over the leg. Yes, back of the leg. And most definitely. And pull up. Notice that you really have to support your weight on your supporting leg. That there's not a lot of opportunity to shift your balance here. If your weight is not solid, you're going to be wobbly a little bit. All right, and let's close this. And stand up. Other leg. Okay, so this leg really needs to be strong. This is right, your supporting leg, right? So keep this strong. This one needs to be flexible and to be able to hold. Breathe in. And stretch out. One more time. Stretch up. Reach out. Hold the heel. Reach over the leg. As far as you can go. Holding the supporting leg. And hands down. Return to your sides. And release it. Feet about shoulder width apart. And just stay there for a second. Okay? Your legs will perhaps, depending on what you've just done, let you know what you've done in a couple of hours. Most of this should feel pretty good. It's not, again, it's not the, I'm going to go stretch now. Okay. We don't want that. It doesn't create the ability to do the movements that we want to be able to do in the way that we want to be able to do them. We need more elasticity. We need more of that quiet, for lack of a good way to say it, we need more of that quiet strength, as opposed to something that's a little more, it's obvious. I don't know. I don't know what it's. The what I'm talking about with this quiet strength is that it is more intrinsic energy that we want to build and create, so that it's there, it's available. It's not necessarily what we're using right this minute. And in order to cultivate that, we have to go beyond that right this minute thing. We have to be able to relax, be able to move freely, again, without tension. Again, I'm going to talk about this for just a second. So if you wiggle your fingers, most people can do this. I sometimes have a little trouble with it, but I can do it. All right, so I can wiggle my fingers. All right. Can you wiggle your fourth rib? My what? Oh, that one. No, I can't. I don't know where that is. Right? That was, go back to what I was talking about before, Miss Tanya, talking about you will learn to love your pain. When you can find the muscles in your body to be able to wiggle them more or less at will, you can start to develop that elasticity, right? Because what you're able to do then is to relax the muscles in this idea of façon. It's relaxed but not limp or flaccid. It's there's still energy there, so it's relaxed. There's still energy there. It's façon in what you're not using, and then to extend, right? As you extend, you gain more elasticity in those muscles. So you're going to extend what you are using and not make it bulge out, or you want to wrap it to the bone. So you gentle extension. As you do that, you gain that intrinsic strength. So it's not going to be obvious, but when you need it, it's there. That's my lesson on some of the internal workmanship, or that's part of my lessons on the internal workmanship. I'm going to stop here for today. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back next week.